Let me ask you about poverty. I want to just put up a summary of what you are proposing for how to rethink entitlement programs and deal with poverty. You'd like to consolidate 11 federal anti-poverty programs, including programs like food stamps, public housing assistance, child care aid, low-income energy assistance, and cash welfare. Consolidate them, have states administer them. They would get a certain amount of money and have some creativity to spend that money. Even talk about the creation of kind of individual case officers at a state level who could deal with a poor family, for instance, and try to give them a path out. You know, skeptics have said, they've cited one thing that really struck me, which is some of the poorest states are run by Republican governors who have refused to even expand access to Medicaid under the Obamacare law. So you can understand why people would be skeptical that giving them that kind of power would actually lead to constructive solutions to deal with people who are poor.
Well, look, first of all, these programs don't work with each other. In many ways, they end up being counterproductive, because poverty is a complicated problem and it needs to be customized. And second of all, we have basically a poverty management system with respect to the federal government. If you want to have a healthy economy and have real solutions, you have to have a healthy safety net, and the safety net needs to work to get people out of poverty. So my argument here is, let's not focus on effort, on inputs, how much money we spend. Let's focus on outcomes. Are we actually getting people out of poverty? And the best way to do that, in my opinion, is to listen to people on the ground, the people who are fighting poverty person to person, and give them more flexibility in exchange for more accountability to actually get people out of poverty. We have learned good lessons about the right way to do this and not, and I would argue that we can customize a benefit to a person based on their particular needs, which actually helps them get out of poverty long term. We spend $800 billion every year on 92 different programs to fight poverty, yet we have the highest poverty rates in a generation.
But let's talk about...
We need to change the focus, and I think this is a very good step in the right direction. I want to have a conversation about how to improve the outcomes.
Let's talk about your own attitudes about people who are poor and their views on government. You were on this program in January of last year, and you said the following.
We don't want a dependency culture. Our concern in this country is with the idea that more and more able-bodied people are becoming dependent upon the government than upon themselves or their livelihoods.
It doesn't sound like there's a lot of sympathy for people you think need the government's help. What you seem to be saying is that, you know, people have a problem, you know, with their own dependency here that government is only furthering.
That's not my intent, and that's far from it. My point, and I'll make it again, is we don't want to have a poverty management system that simply perpetuates poverty. We want to get at the root causes of poverty to get people out of poverty. And I would argue that that is the best way to go forward, and that's what we're proposing here, which is have benefits that are customized to a unique person's problems, because poverty is very complicated, to not just keep them where they are, but help them get to where they want to be. And that is what is the thrust of these proposals. The federal government's approach has ended up maintaining poverty, managing poverty. In many ways, it has disincentivized people from going to work. In some cases, you lose more in benefits if you go to work. So people don't go to work because of the federal disincentive to do so. So we need to re-emphasize getting people up and on their lives and helping them give them the tools to do that. That's the point. Able-bodied people should go to work, and we should have a system that helps them do that so that they can realize their potential. That, to me, is a far better system to get people out of poverty long term than just spend more hardworking taxpayer dollars on a program that is not getting the results that people deserve.
Chairman Paul Ryan, a debate that will continue. Thank you very much for your thoughts on it this morning.
Thank you, David.
Coming up here.